KarsaKKWx. Karsa's my name. KKWX is my empire. Here today with my friends from NRT as we play Waystone Mysteries. The last thing we knew, there were a few people who were killed on air on the radio. Well, one person killed on the radio. We had a 16-year-old vampire in a house, and now we're going to figure out what we're going to be doing with all this information. Let's get to it.
I didn't know that we have to hear.
What you dealt with last week is that you did find that Dexter Willit's son is in a coffin and is alive. Well, unalive.
Yes, in an absolutely amazing scene, which anyone listening to this that doesn't remember the scene, go back to the previous episode and listen to it. It was hilarious.
It was. Nathaniel was the knight. He got away with murder. Well, he could have, but he didn't.
Yeah, he was stealth incarnate. It was actually really good.
It was good. It was good. And then we had also a situation where, if you do not remember, WKOK Radio had the Shadows show going on, and we heard a shot and a curdling scream, and then it was over. We were talking to Pat Beach, who was the detective that told us this was real.
And despite there being absolutely no indications of anything supernatural going on, half the party left to go investigate that instead.
Yes. So there's two mysteries going on right now, and they may or may not be connected.
Is there any reason to think they are connected? Currently.
Well, we'll find out today, won't we?
All right.
So,
Yep, as the age-old saying goes, you are free to make any assumptions you would like.
So, where would you like to begin?
Yeah, I had a couple questions for the staff at the radio station.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I believe there was the manager and the co-star.
Yes, the co-star that found the body.
Found the body? I thought she
Well-
was the one that accidentally shot him.
No, there was one that found the body, and
Somebody had to shoot him on mic. Unless there's a third person you guys didn't tell me about.
I didn't tell about that one. I'm sorry. Yeah. So the manager would be there. The, woman who was screaming would be there. The third guy is hiatus. Is on hiatus. Not there.
Okay. So before I go asking these questions, I gotta roll it back to make sure I understand what happened. They
Okay.
were doing the show, and in order to get the right effect, there was supposed to be a prop gun with a blank or something along the lines of that going off.
Correct.
Except for the fact that it wasn't a blank, it was a real bullet.
Yes.
Okay. So there is a...
Is his name Alec Baldwin?
It's clearly Brandon Lee.
Well, I mean, was it Alec Baldwin holding the gun and Brandon Lee got shot?
Yes.
Also, yes.
The prop assistant.
You know, in 50
No.
years, that's how people will... In 50 years, that's how internet people will remember it.
Yeah, but no, those are two separate occurrences of a prop gun going off and hurting or killing.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that, like, in 50 years,
No, I know.
when you have, like, internet experts talking about stuff, they're going to conflate the two instances.
Yeah, like say killing Trinity with Rosebud.
Exactly.
That's how it happened, folks. Objective truth, no lies.
All right. So I guess I'll start with the manager.
Okay.
So, walk me through the events of what happened.
Well, sir, we were planning for this particular episode where the last thing that was going to be done was Caleb was going to be shot. And the curling stream was, that was all planned. What I don't understand is, where's my prop assistant, Alec Trekker, and if that was real, why wasn't it checked? But anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. I'm sure you have many. Who are you with?
I just hook a finger back at
Oh, the detective. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay.
Alright. No. I don't want to know what was supposed to happen. What actually happened?
Exactly that. It was supposed to happen that way. So we queued for the shot. The shot rang. But
Who was holding the weapon at the time?
my prop assistant, Alec Trekker.
Okay. Now, Alec Trekker was Alec Trekker supposed to point the weapon at the victim?
No. But he was supposed to do it behind curtains, so it wouldn't be seen, or it would feel like it was muffled.
Okay. And Alec pointed the weapon at the victim and fired, correct?
Yes.
And by doing so, the real bullet struck the victim and therefore ending his life, correct?
Yes.
And you have law and the alleged perpetrator has currently fled the scene?
He's not here. And I've sent some guys to go to his apartment.
Sure. Can you give us would you mind supplying with us his home address and any information that you can give us?
Sure. And they will give you the home address. He's a few blocks down the way. We can't have him on this. I mean, can't. We need to have him close by, so we ran out a place for him.
All right. Does the detective know this information?
Pat Beach is taking notes as you guys are doing this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it doesn't make any sense why he would not. I was wondering where the third one was. Anyway.
Okay. Has Mr. Trekker been acting out of character recently?
Today he did. He was totally
before
quiet today.
Okay. So he's normally a very talkative sort?
Extremely talkative.
You haven't noticed anything odd with him other than that recent days?
No. No, he's normally always excited about being here. He's always talking to everyone. He's always hitting on Miss Trellis over there. Extremely talkative.
Okay, walk me through all of today's events, starting from when you all arrived up to the shooting.
So, what had happened is we always have a rehearsal. always talk, and we go through all of the notes and all of the scripts and make sure that we hit it before we do it live. We make sure and we check everything, and so that when it happens, it can happen within the 30 minutes that we need to do the short show. So first thing we did was we all got together, took care of our script, and we had a conversation on how it was going to be set up, how the shadow was going to be affected. Unfortunately for our friend Caleb, he he was kind of getting tired of just being on the radio. He wanted to be something more, and he was thinking about becoming a movie theater actor. And so we decided this was going to be his day where he would die and be able to move on to it with his life. Didn't expect it was going to be like that. Anyway, going back. So we all had our script written. It was all said and done and whatnot. We went through the rehearsal. It went fine. The sound went fine. It sounded like a prop gun. It was going to be just all right. Then we tried it again, this time live, and that's when it happened.
There wasn't anything odd other than Mr. Trucker being quiet with today's rehearsal and anything else.
Charles looks like he just stayed behind that curtain. He really didn't ever talk to us at all. He wasn't even showing his face. Which I found
You could say he had a face made for radio.
No, he had a face made for movies. But
collectively take Dexter in the background, slap themselves in the face, and go,
All right. Alec Trekker, though, he didn't even show his face today. He just wanted behind the curtain. It's like he was having a very bad day. He had gone to the party the other day, and he was getting, I think he was probably bloodshot. I'm surprised Caleb wasn't.
Was Mr. Trucker early or late today?
He was late.
So where is this curtain that he holds up behind? Would it happen to be that one over there, clearly in the room?
Yes.
We go behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain, you will see two guns. One is hidden, though, but I'm going to just say that you probably look really... I'm not going to make you roll for it. There are two guns. One's real, one's prop.
Detective, it seems you have a case of premeditated murder.
It does seem so.
I would have to agree.
You know what I find interesting? Every single one of my victims have come from that goddamn party.
What party would that be?
Castle party. During New Year's.
Interesting. Well, unless you want our help tracking this particular man down, which I think you guys will have well in hand. This does unfortunately seem pretty open and shut at the moment.
Yeah. Right now, Alec is my top subject. Top perp.
But given that he seems to have been at the party, came in a terrible state, out of it, sorts, very quiet, very out of character for himself. It may not stop with him. There may be a coercive factor here.
Maybe.
And again, maybe he was just jealous. Envious, sorry. Of Caleb's potential success. Not even actual success, in all honesty. It's working on the same radio. They're working on the same show. I look over at the manager, I doubt their pay was all that much different.
Yeah, their pay was the same. You talk, the other one would take care of the props. Props are a lot of work.
Go over at Miss Trellis. It is Miss, right? Not Mrs.
Miss.
Okay. And I'm going to put a hand over the notebook that the detective's writing on.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have happened to have been seeing the deceased socially, would you?
Yes.
And I keep the notebook covered to keep the man from writing this part for now. How intimate
This is a
did we
clearly
get?
directed, off the record set of
Yeah.
questioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
How
were
intimate did you get?
having an affair.
Well, you're not married, was he?
No. But, because he was moving on, it was easier if the manager would find out. And she's still in tears. She's still. We were together, yes.
And Mr. Checker seemed to be very interested in also seeing you socially.
Yes.
Look, detective, you have at least 3 motives here. I don't envy you. You have a lot of work to go through to figure out which one's the real one. Miss Chalice, I do have to apologize ahead of time. If Mr. Checker's motive was in fact envy towards the relationship you and the deceased had, that will have to become public record.
Hopefully it doesn't.
And I'll look over at the detective. If that isn't the motive, there's no reason to, or there's no reason to reveal it, yes?
The detective agrees.
Okay. Now, Vinny, you got anything else? Hit a wall.
No, now we gotta go find the alleged and get some answers from them.
Good measure. And you're sure this is the only address he stays at? It's the one you've rented for him?
It's the one that I rented for him. I do not know if he goes to others.
Oh, I guess I do have one more question then. Mr. Chalice, has he ever invited you to another private address?
He invited me out to a place where he frequents.
And that would be?
The gardens.
Okay. Would be. Alright. Unfortunately, I don't have any more pointed questions, but is there anything else either of you two could think of that would be useful in tracking him down?
Where's your dog?
Oh, I guess I do have another pointed question. Is there any family in the city or nearby?
No. He's on his own. His family
Any
lives in
friends?
Indiana.
Any friends he might have talked about?
Well, he was friends with a few of the recent some of the debutantes around here.
Do you have names?
Charles Ponzi. Linda Lepetesh. They would have been at the party as well, because well known.
Huh. I think money really isn't the motive then. Seems he's actually well connected. Interesting. Okay. Oh.
I can't afford to pay them a huge salary, but I do try to give them as much exposure as I can for their futures.
Very well. Alright, Vinny. Suppose we're losing time, I guess.
Okay. I asked the detective, have you sent any officers over to his...
Yes, we have 2
Hello?
officers on their way. Were
Okay.
on their way about 10 minutes ago. I
Okay.
haven't heard back from them yet.
Right, can you possibly call them on the radio?
Yes. He goes outside. So at that time, they didn't have them on their shoulders.
Right, you have to go to the central call box, or you may even have to call back to
Yeah.
certain, like, whatever.
Were police boxes ever a thing in the United States?
Yes, we've already gone
Yes,
through
very-
this once before.
Okay.
Briefly.
yeah.
Very briefly.
It was briefly. But they did exist.
Okay.
And they were more well known in very specific parts of the U.S. There were a few parts that never got around to using them, and they didn't last very long.
Gotcha. Of course.
So a mobile CB would not be existing at this point in time, but there is a way to possibly use it. another direction for that. So yeah, you will see the detective head out for a moment, and he will be making some calls.
You fire your gun in Morse code and hope you get a response.
I was thinking smoke signals myself. Yeah.
Smoke signals.
Well, yeah. You just gotta head out into like a field. You'll see the smoke signals. You'll be standing there for like 2 hours and be like, there's a
So in
murder
a major
going on.
metropolitan area, if you could like climb up to a rooftop, pull out some flags, and start doing semaphore, like
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, it works in Discworld. I mean, that's
Yeah.
literally the basis of the clack system in that, which is hilarious.
Alright. Well, as we wait for a response from him, while we're waiting, I'll look at the manager. So what's your plan now, seeing as your show is kind of dead?
He gives you a look as if to say, too soon.
Well, it was dying regardless. The guy was leaving.
We'll find somebody to take his place. We have a few prospects of who we were going to possibly change the name to. We've dealt with that before, where we've had to get new actors that would now read the script for their characters. However, he was pretty good. You could actually hear the inflection of how he would talk. He was good at what he did. So we'll find somebody. Okay. CBs were not available until 1945. Therefore, you will not be able.
semaphore. Got it.
Yeah, so he would have had to do a different way.
It's when you head outside, you see him climbing up the side of a building with a couple flags in his back pocket.
Yep. Imagine like flares, maybe. I think flare guns might not exist, but like light a flare in the
First police radio system was implemented in Detroit in 28.
Yeah, because there's also the thing of, keep in mind, CBs weren't around until much later, but that doesn't stop the fact that you can still have a radio in a car. You simply don't have the ability to pick up a microphone and talk back. But you would get calls, like, they would literally send a message out.
That's right. You're right. Yeah.
At control.
Well, also,
And
I
then
mean,
you
like,
would go and find this phone and call.
well, this is why, like even throughout World War I, you had runners. Like your entire job was to quickly get a message.
15 minutes later, after Pat Beach had left, he comes in going, Vinny, do you really want to be a consultant on this case?
Yeah. Any reason I shouldn't be?
Your normal salary?
Please.
Okay. What about your friend?
Mr. Trekker dead? I don't need the money.
Yes, he's dead.
Did he have envy? Or did he have a brand in his back too?
Surprisingly, no, he did not. But
Never clearing the loose ends. So, we're back to coercive factor.
yeah. I'm guessing you want the same salary as him?
I don't need the money.
Good. Alright.
I gesture to the clothes that probably... I'm like, I could buy this whole radio station if I wanted to.
He had...
Because
looked at
your outfit costs more than my
clothes
salary in
and
a year.
thought, true. Yeah, Alec Trekker was shot
How many times?
twice.
Okay. Well, Vinny, I guess we have our next stop. I mean, we're going there anyway, but now we know what we're walking into. Okay, good talk.
So, Pat Beach will say, well, we have my car, if you want to go in my car.
I have my own.
Vinny?
He rode with me.
Correct.
Okay. I'll meet you there. Same address. Are heading that direction. It's gonna take you not very long to drive there. He had literally went on foot to go there to find out what was going on and came back. So within minutes you are at the apartment. The apartment is well, we're gonna do this by theater of the mind. Apartment is small, but has a lot of pictures of Rosie Trellis all over.
Man was just a little obsessed.
Very obsessed. Mm-hmm.
The little was sarcasm.
You guys, when you get there, do you wait for Pat or do you go ahead?
Fuck no.
Didn't think so. Alright.
How would I?
You see two cops there. Rather young. One is about in his 20s and the other is more seasoned. And they stop you. This is a police scene. Who are you
Yeah,
two?
consultants.
Show him badge. You know. He's with me.
Yeah, okay.
They're with me.
Right. Come through. Watch yourself. There's blood on the floor.
Not the first blood-soaked room I've been in.
So you will see blood where he was shot, the first spot. It is creaming the entranceway. And seems like it's splattered the whole entire entranceway, as if it was shot as the person opened the door. And then you notice that it looked like he was crawling away, trying to get away, before he was shot a second time. The second time was he was first shot in the chest, the second time he was shot in the head.
Have either of you moved the body?
No. This is how we found it. Pat Beach comes in a little bit perturbed. Great, the chief. Oh my god. Chief is okay with you two being consultants, but please be careful. We're dealing with money here.
What?
We're dealing with money here on a lot of these, on a lot of this case. People with money.
Oh, you mean because it's tied to the New Year's Eve party?
Yep. So far, everyone's been from that party.
Oh, Vinny, this is your wheelhouse, so...
Okay. Do a review of the body location as far as what's seen, like, and all the as many details as it can be picked up, please.
Alright, so what you will see is that when you open the entrance, you see blood splattered everywhere. He was shot point blank right there, but he survived it.
Okay,
Long
staring
enough.
at that though, when he was shot, where does it look like the first shot was located? Hitting the victim where?
In the chest.
Upper chest, lower, left, right.
It
So-
would be upper chest. Like it just missed the heart.
Okay. So it'll be a upper chest on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
From the victim's perspective. Okay.
From the victim's perspective, the victim then crawls away. It seems like the perp had time to wait it out. As he was crawling away towards the kitchen to attempt to get a knife. But just as he had tried to get the knife, he got shot in the head.
Okay. Based on the location of the body moving around, are there imprints from the shoes or from the perpetrator at all?
That's the funny part. So I'm gonna have you do me a investigate a mystery. Oh, fudge. Wow. Okay. There is no way, unless this guy was 10 feet tall, could these shoes have fit a person's foot.
Okay, short version. There are footprints. The footprints are massive.
Yes.
And are they like massive, long as well as wide, like size like clown shoes, or they look active?
They look like clown shoes.
Okay. Now looking at the clown shoes, like, and also looking at what type of a floor is it? Is it carpet or is it just a hardwood or
It's hardwood.
hardwood? Okay.
And the blood is soaking into the wood.
Okay. Well, looking at the floor imprints when I'm staring at the blood segments, does it look like it's
Fresh?
No, I mean like pressed into the wood. Meaning, if somebody is huge and heavy, you're going to press slightly deeper into a wood paneling than you would be like if you were like someone in a lighter weight, as you know, and wearing like clown shoes for sake of argument.
No.
So it is even weight across the board, or is it
Even
less?
weight.
All right. Looking at the angle of the fire of the shot from the angle of the initial shot into the chest,
Mm-hmm.
does it look like it was done? I'm looking to see if it was done from a straight shot, like a equal height, from an elevated position, or from a lower position.
They were elevated over them.
Okay, roughly about how high?
And when you look at the man's face, he looks like he's in terror.
Okay. The angle of shot. This is going to be difficult to calculate, but given the idea that the initial fire was from one
You
position.
can crouch down and like sort of lift up the lift him up from the side, and you can see the sizable exit wound on the back of the guy's on his back, and you would wager that it looks probably about 20 to 30 degrees downwards.
Okay. So based on that angle type, and given how tall the victim is, you can take a guesstimate on the height of the individual based on the distance. As far as, okay, the fire should have. It looks like the angle of fire, so the source of the fire should have been from here.
You're doing
Yeah.
the low-tech version of the CSI sticking flags and lasers.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda, yeah, but it's using physics, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
In
it's
Disco
the
Elysium,
low-tech
they call
version.
this skill visual calculus.
Yeah, there you go. You whip out your dice, you start rolling for visual calculus, and then and in about 70 years, these guys get this idea for a thing called a video game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Meanwhile, Nathaniel's having a mental break as he's getting the entire plot for Disco Elysium dumped into his mind.
no, as I'm writing it all out, like doing it on paper and stuff like that. So, I'm trying to figure out the height of the individual. And now, do you need a roll for that, or could I use the investigate a mystery, one of the results of that for this answer?
You could do one of the results for this if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So, the terror on this man's face, would you say it's a delirious level of terror?
It looks like he was straight up scared out of his fucking mind because he had no idea, like, what he was looking at.
Okay.
Like,
So the answer
it's
to that-
about, yeah, it's not the same kind of terror of like, a 7-foot brick shit house and a hockey mask with a machete was coming at me. It's the kind of terror of, I didn't know Shoggoths were a thing as you're being ripped apart.
Yeah. Here, Cervantes, if you go to the Waystone Discord, I have a picture for a theory.
I've got to look at that.
True. Albeit,
for context,
we're
those
seeing a
watching-
gun, therefore you'd have to be made out of glass, maybe walking. You know what I'm talking
Okay.
about?
Or you live on the streets. Eat that cardboard gruel.
No, they wouldn't deign themselves to use those type of things.
You say that, but I've did that before.
Yeah, so for those not in the know, Cormac has like the picture of a bitchin' werewolf.
Yes, he has.
That is a really good picture of a werewolf as well. That
It
is
really
quality.
is.
That is a Krytos form Guru from Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's just it when you were describing the terror, I'm like, is it delirious level terror? Because when they're in that form, they
Oh yeah.
cause mortals to go into a thing called delirium.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be similar to delirium.
Clearly not a werewolf. Dude was wearing shoes.
Hey, it could have just been a really, really like. It could have been a werewolf that has like 4 points in etiquette from Kindred of the East. You know,
Or
where's
he was
Malcolm?
hiding, or he was hiding his feet.
What's the halfway between human and Krynos form? What's that one called?
Glabro.
Glabro.
Glabro. Yeah, it could have been like Harry Glabro.
Or
I
Hispo,
don't-
depending on how you look at it. Depending which
No.
form.
Hispo's the direwolf. But anyway, I have sidetracked this enough. I will not apologize.
No, you're fine.
That's-
You're
that's a
fine.
good
It's been funny.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like if a certain other person was to turn up and be like werewolf, you could genuinely believe that might be what this guy was terrified of.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Francis walked in here and said, "Hey, those are werewolf tracks," we both look at him and go, "Well, I guess we're hunting a werewolf now."
Yeah. Like you would definitely not put it past him being right on that kind of assumption. Because this is way beyond what you would expect from any, everyday people.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just trying to picture a werewolf that would shoot somebody, as opposed to.
Yeah,
Look.
that's kind of like
Hang
I
on.
have this mental image of a werewolf wearing clown shoes, reaching out with this tiny little revolver, like having to use its claws to actually pull the trigger.
Yeah.
I
Now
mean,
here's the thing.
So tiny.
yeah.
Because it's so out there, and because you're dismissing it so quickly, it's the perfect crime.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not a werewolf. Doesn't make sense.
No, the
It's funny.
perfect crime for a werewolf would be to bite somebody only on the neck and drain all their blood.
Fair enough. Just give a
Nobody's
little
going to
love
suspect a
there.
werewolf.
Yep. All right, but I believe I think you were answering how tall the whatever the perpetrator was. I think this is where we left off before I got in the way.
So yeah, you're able to do your what was it, your visual calculus roll, and you would wager that it's a downward angle of about 20 to 30 degrees, which does imply like someone would clearly, because there's no like stippling around the wound, he was shot from at least 5 feet. Therefore, judging by it, somebody would have to be standing a distance away, holding the gun probably about like head height and aiming it downwards.
Either that, or they were,
They're
or either
literally
that, or they were,
one step away
yeah,
from gangster.
or
Because it would be sideways.
yeah, you'd have to either be holding it sideways from a ridiculous height, or that individual that's doing the firing has to be that ridiculous height. Like, when I be ridiculous, means specifically what do I calculate? Like, are we talking like 10 feet, or are we talking
Yeah,
like,
you would
like 10'2", or
you
what are we
would make
talking?
the assumption that based on the size of the print, the bloody footprints and the angle, probably you would be looking for someone in theory anywhere between 9 and 11 feet tall, which for reference,
Okay, we're back to werewolves.
known at the time, there were like 4 people on the planet above 8 feet. And 3 of them are dead, I'm pretty sure, by the 1920s. But I highly doubt you would make the assumption that a specific Chinese man happens to be there. Because he'd definitely stick out.
I think a
I
couple
mean,
of them
Andre
went
the
there.
Giant has a posse.
Yeah, unfortunately,
ain't
he
born
wasn't
yet.
born just then. Yeah.
Or even if he was bored, he was like 2.
But
Yeah.
would he wear clown shoes?
He was 2.
I mean, maybe he was just, if he was clowning around, maybe. But we just don't know enough about Andre the Giant when he was 2 years old.
True.
Which is now canonical Andre the Giant factual information that he was 2 in 1929.
Oh, sure. So
If this guy was that big, how the fuck did he get through the goddamn door?
Okay, looking at the floor where the firing is from, is there any scrape marks or look like anything that was there at the time?
Not directly on the floor, but when you have a look up the walls, you do notice that there are like scuff marks in a relatively recent paint job that possibly within the last week or so he had painted at least one of the walls, and it looks like when you scuff your arm along the wall, like there's some cracks in the recent paint job.
Yeah, looking at the paint, looking at the wall where the recent paint job was, coming over to it, kind of run my hand over it, looking for, is there like a specific like indentations, or is there like reasons where like a fresh repair or anything like that?
There is a small gouge that's been filled in with like plaster and then painted over. But it looks like it's at the perfect height for like if you had a box on your shoulder and had simply tried to take a corner too early and banged the box into the wall.
I mean, if you want, we can grab some knives and start scraping paint off. But
No, I do. I take out like a small knife and like I'm scraping off the paint, like in the where that gouge area is.
Yeah, you come away with some ever so faintly tacky kind of you know uh, the color forest green.
vaguely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's forest green paint, and then underneath it there looks like it could be a layer of possibly navy blue, and then you've got a chunk of still somewhat in the process of setting plaster. That this was likely patched a couple days prior.
Okay. Does he have does he have any active neighbors? Like, is this like a apartment on with like 3 or 4 bedrooms and I'm sorry, 3 or 4 apartments on the same floor kind of a thing?
More like a townhouse.
Oh,
Everyone's
okay.
living in townhouses, and I'm the only one that puts people in apartment blocks.
That's good.
Well, townhouses were more common in that time.
Are these kind of townhouses that are flat up against each other, or is there space between them?
Oh no, they're flat up against.
Is he on the end of the row or in the middle?
He's on the end.
But is the wall that's been painted over on the neighbor side or the non-neighbor side?
Neighbor side.
No, neighbor side.
Well, can't hurt to go talk to the neighbors. Let's go see what if they saw anything.
Yeah. Look at Dated Pat. When you guys are looking through his stuff, if you find anything weird, by that I mean esoteric. Do you know what that means?
Not exactly, one of the guys say. What do you mean by that?
Find anything that might even look mildly religious or occultish or culty,
Oh.
come find us.
The older cop kind of gives a knowing nod and like, for ritual purposes.
Why would he be in ritual? Oh, alright. Sure.
No, I point to the clear obsession wall.
True enough. Alright. Will do. And they continue to catalog.
Is this a 1-lane or 2-lane street?
It's a 2-lane street.
Guess we can go across the street after we talk to the adjacent neighbor, but I get a little far away. Oh well. I guess we go next door.
Yeah, let's go ahead and walk over next door. Try to have one of the uniforms with us so that way we can, it makes it a lot more official.
Okay.
So, come over and knock on the door.
I'm gonna knock on our door.
It's the next door neighbor or across the street that you're going to?
The next door.
Okay, so yeah, you knock on the door and you could hear some like stomping around that more just sounds like somebody in like work boots moving around. And after probably about 30 seconds, the cop that comes over with you, he decides to lean in because the door hasn't been opened and like gives it the police are here thumps, which is almost immediately answered by a guy shouting, "Who the fuck is that?"
IRS. Boston Police Department.
For fuck's sake. You hear this kind of muffled in it. There's what sounds like a door slamming and then stomps getting closer to the door until the handle turns and the door gets pulled open and there's a clearly annoyed looking, like probably you'd wager he's in his like late 30s to early 40s, looks like a dock worker standing there in overalls, has some like engine grease down one arm, and is looking at the groupie. He's like, "You fucking look like cops."
I
What do you want?
pull the uniform in front of me. He does. And then I push it back.
Yeah, this guy is like a foot taller than the cop, who immediately has this look of like, "Oh shit," as he's presented as the Shield.
Well, no, not a shield. It's just, you don't look like cops. It's like, you sure? And then I put him back.
He's just kind of like, kind of small for a cop. And then he looks back at you, Al, because you're the one talking.
Yeah.
What do you want?
I have some questions about your neighbor. Specifically that one. I point to the Trekker's place.
He just kind of leans forward ever so slightly, not even far enough to look out of the door, and glances across, and he's like, "Oh, that weird fuck. What
You
about?"
want to elaborate? Yeah, elaborate on weird.
He asked me to fix. He had a radiator that bust. He asked if he could borrow a tool. I wasn't going to give him one because he is a tool, but he asked me to fix his radiator for him. You seen the wall of pictures?
Yes?
He's weird.
How much did you interact with him?
As little as I could.
Is that because you didn't like him, or just because you didn't care?
I don't care. And I move boxes for a living. I do not care about that weird fuck.
Oh, how'd you get the grease on your arm?
Because my fucking bottle fell. Like, taking a moment, you realize it's not actually engine grease. It's like grease from cooking.
Ah, fair enough.
And then it does occur to you that you can kind of smell eggs being cooked.
Okay, I'm not even gonna go into this. Alright. In the past... Shit, how long was it since the shot on the radio happened? Are we in like the hour and a half range?
You're about within the hour and a half range, yeah.
Were there any loud noises that came from your neighbor's place in the last hour 15?
He kind of scratches the back of his head, thinking, not that I could say. He brings his hand back around, has a look at a very tattered but somehow working watch. I've been back maybe 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. This is
I was out at work.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Do you live here with anybody, or is it just yourself?
Yeah, it's just me.
Okay.
Have you noticed any suspicious individuals around your neighbor's place, other than him?
Anything specific? I mean,
No, that'd be called leading.
I mean, there's a couple of guys that look kind of. He kind of leads it a little bit conspiratorial. Look, a little mafia that came around a few weeks ago. So something about like him owing them money. That's what it sounded like. But I mean, they left happily. But that was a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Why? Did he get killed or something?
I'm deciding, because I'm not a cop. I'm just, I like.
The cop would tell
I mean, he's
you
gonna find
not
out
to
about it
say
one way or the other.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just like no. I was deciding whether, because like I don't know if the cops would actually, because the investigation is still like happening, the body's still there, if they're allowed to tell it or not. Then again, this is 20s and I'm not a cop. Yeah, he's dead.
Huh. Oh well, guess we'll get some new neighbors.
Oh, when you roll the dice, sometimes you crap out. So maybe you want, maybe dealing with the weird guy isn't as bad as whoever you get next.
Well, put it this way. If it wasn't for the fact he was relatively quiet, there's a couple of times I could have quite happily taken his jaw off with a wrench.
Why?
But sometimes he would come out with weird shit. And I'm meaning weird in terms of like, he occasionally made comments in regards to, I don't know who the woman is, but he had some, shall we say, unsavory ideas. And he'd mutter to himself now and then. Like he points out to, like, at the side of the road, where the mailboxes are, and you kind of see that they are grouped in pairs of two, rather than being like at the end of each individual path.
Yeah, I get it. I've
It's
seen
two
that
by
before.
two. So yeah, he's like a couple times going out to get the mail. You know, he's out at the same time. You overhear him muttering random things. You usually just put it down to, oh, you know, guys had a drink. He's just talking crap. But no, when you're getting specifics of, like, you know, the things he wants to do to some people, you think like, that starts building up.
Was it always the same person, or was it different people?
It sounded like the same person.
I know it's unsavory. I'm gonna need you to elaborate a little bit more. You don't need to go in full detail.
Well,
The voice
you
is
know,
purr.
yeah, he mentions a club that is not dissimilar to Deceit, but is much more of a lower class establishment.
Okay.
And he's just basically like, you know, the kind of stuff that people pay for. Well, he had some ideas that were a bit beyond that.
Okay.
He
Fair enough.
had some very strange ideas.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna ask you to go into any more than that. I think I can fill in the blanks.
Yeah. He does mention that he then, like, when he's leaning back, he's like, there was one thing recently, he had it in for some actor as well. Like, I heard him pacing a few times in the past, and he would be, you know, complaining to himself. You know, like people pace around and talk to themselves to come up with ideas or whatever. He would do this and have like entire conversations with himself in terms of what he wants to achieve at his job. Sounded like he worked for that radio station.
Yes.
And some show that he was involved with, from the sounds of it, because he was talking about how he's gonna make him, I'm gonna make him see my value and stuff like that. It sounded like a what would you say, it sounded like he wanted to be really aggressive about chasing a promotion, maybe.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
I only heard half of the conversation.
That's fine. What was your name, sir?
Maxwell.
Okay. Well, Maxwell, you may be called in to give further statement and testimony because your deceased neighbor also killed a man today, who was his coworker on the show. No.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I suppose you know, some people do say you gotta watch out for the quiet ones.
Actually, weirdly enough, he wasn't quiet at his job.
No?
But
Can't say
anyway.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. But Officer Dewey here is going to take your full statement on it.
And he does that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. He immediately looks at the cop and is like, "Can it wait 5 minutes?"
Yes. Go ahead and tend to your meal.
Yeah.
Oh, unless Vinny, you got any extra questions for him? Anything I missed?
No, you covered it all.
All right, I'll let you take lead on the next neighbor because I think we're gonna have to go across the street and at least talk to the guy directly across from Maxwell and the guy directly across from Alec. Because if anybody was home in that time, they should have heard those gunshots. And I don't see somebody who's the size that you described going out the windows.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is like, whilst having the quick look at the house, you are able to have a quick once over of the rooms, and basically the hall and the kitchen are the only rooms of note because there's everything else looks more or less fine. Other than the wall of obsession, but there's a wall of obsession in the living room, but the rest of it is totally fine. Just everyday random a dude's house.
All right.
In that case, we should wall of
walls
obsession
are
wasn't merely an artistic, wasn't merely like a decoration statement,
Oh, like
Ties
a
them
feature
together.
wall. Yeah, like a feature wall.
I mean,
really ties the room together.
I think the
It's not a
mannequin
rug, man.
with the kitchen knives stuffed into their heads just really tie the space together. You know?
Yeah. It's a conversation starter.
I could see it maybe being a little bit of more of an artistic reference if I didn't just hear the fact that he may have been thinking about sexual assault. We have gone way far into the obsession part.
Yeah, he was definitely in the understanding. You would think, yeah, he's
Yep.
a little bit
Okay.
more than
I
just
agree.
obsessed.
I agree, but it is more funny to keep trying to justify all this.
Fair. All right. Fair enough. Devil's
Man's
advocate.
gotta
I get
have a hobby, guys.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
come on.
Devil's
exactly.
advocate. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's 1928. You probably have only ever spoken to one woman before that hasn't immediately screamed and ran away.
And
So,
video games don't
progress.
exist.
Yeah, video games don't exist. You can't go onto Reddit and be red pilled yet.
All right.
It's totally fine.
Oh God, we're dealing with an incel. All right.
Well, he's dead. Like on the
fair
bright side of all of this, none of this is really a problem anymore.
Fair enough. And,
He's,
Vinny.
he's dead.
Unless he's also become a
he's not
Dracula.
coming back.
No. I doubt it. All right, Vinny.
Wow,
You're
you
just-
see, here's the thing. I'm currently writing in a zombie episode. Nah, I kid.
Your choice. Neighbor across from Alec or neighbor across from Maxwell?
Let's take a neighbor across from Maxwell. Let's start there, then we'll work our way over.
All right. Tippity tap tap. Open the door.
And an old lady comes. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'll be there.
Vinny, what have you done to us?
You can hear some thumping, but it's clearly an old lady trying to maintain balance with either a big clumpy walker or a walking stick.
Yeah.
And it does not sound like she's making fast progress along the hall.
Oh, Christ. All right.
Yep,
Boston
you're
Police
definitely
Department, ma'am.
this one.
A solid minute and a half goes by before you hear the door shakily being unlocked and pulled open.
All right, I'm coming.
Know that.
Ow, that hurt.
Giggity.
Okay.
Plot twist, it was
one
her.
moment.
That would be hilarious. She
Oh, damn it, Nathaniel's caught on.
does
With the
that.
little
fucking-
old lady.
I just asked myself, what would make the least sense and be the most surprising?
I mean, it should be like that fucking old lady from that Legion movie where it's just like, did you just see that old lady turn that guy's throat out?
So the old lady
Your
finally
baby's
comes to.
gonna burn.
Hi. I need your badges first.
Yes, ma'am. Show it to her.
Okay. All right, come on in.
That's not necessary.
Not necessary, ma'am. We want to just have a few questions for you, and we'll be out of your hair.
Give me a second. I gotta get a chair.
Sound like my wife.
The door closes, she disappears for an hour and a half.
Here on the inside, she's putting away the meth lab and
Yeah.
the
There's a
guy she's
whole
got
bunch.
tied up in the basement.
Exactly. Yeah. She also has to dig
Be
the
quiet
shallow
while the
grave real
cops are
quick.
here, or Granny's gonna have to cut a bitch.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. And brings her chair over. Okay. So, as she puts her hands on her cane. Well, how can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Were you home? Have you been home for the past few hours?
I went grocery shopping, and
Hmm.
then took a nap. Something woke me up. I'm not sure what that was. It was a really loud thud.
Loud thud, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that thud inside your home or was it outside the home?
Oh no, it was not. I thought maybe I left the window open, or the tree might have finally come down.
Mhm.
But no, it wasn't in my house.
Okay. And so this loud thud, you only heard it once, or did you hear it multiple times?
Once.
Okay. You said you were taking a nap. Were you laying in bed, or were you in a couch or a chair or something?
Oh, I fell asleep on the couch again.
Okay. Kind of glance over like where the couch is. Is it over by the windows, or is it just kind of like in a enclosed area?
It's kind of an enclosed area. If you would know, back then they had something called a drawing room, where they
Yeah.
would have a time with their family in there.
Right.
You
Yeah. The
do
drawing
see-
rooms with like usually with enclosed with shelving and book
You do
shelving and stuff
see a
like that.
granny's quilt over there, and it does look like she had fallen asleep on the couch.
Ma'am, when you woke up, did you when you were woken up by that noise, what did you do after that?
Went to the window to see if the tree fell down.
Okay. Kind of glancing over towards where the window is from her chair. Is it roughly maybe about 20-30 feet?
Yeah.
So it would take her about maybe, okay, jokes
She
aside.
points to where the window is that she was saying that the tree fell.
All right. It would
And-
take her probably roughly 20-30 seconds for her to get over there because of her.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would
Alright.
not be quick for her.
What did you see out the window, ma'am? When you looked out there?
I saw the tree was scraping on the window, but it wasn't broke. And I did see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that was. It's nothing. It's nothing. I don't.
What was that, ma'am? I'm sorry.
I could have been seeing things. Nah. It's okay.
Well, let's just pretend that we're seeing things. Can you please let me know what you thought you saw?
You know about those Sasquatch? Those big.
The Sasquatches?
Yeah, the big.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with them. I'm familiar with the theory. Yeah. Do
But
you
it
think you
was
saw something like that?
Well, yeah, but it was in a trench coat, so it was nothing. I don't think it exists. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks or something.
Okay. Well, what exactly did you see? Can you describe it for me?
Big hairy dude.
Okay, go on.
In a
When you say
trench
big, how big are we talking? Like my size or my friend's size here, or the officers?
Put
Or are
you
we
three
talking big?
together.
All three of us height-wise together?
No. And bending over too, quite a bit.
Okay. Was he like the size of that tree? Like point outside at the tree that she has. Was tall as that, or was it shorter than
It was shorter than that.
that? Okay. Go on.
I'm not crazy, okay? So I don't want you to think I'm crazy.
Ma'am, we're not here to
I'm not senile.
throw any I am not here to throw any accusations at all. I'm just here to find out exactly what you saw. Now, this shape that you saw, this you said it was somebody tall, like the tall Sasquatch in a trench coat. You said?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When you said it was like a Sasquatch,
It was
what
probably
made
not a Sasquatch. Probably not.
what made you think of that though? Was it like
It was very
what did you see?
furry.
Like furry, like in the hands too?
Yeah, in the hands
Like-
too.
Face, hands. You said it was
Not
wearing
the face. The face it looked normal.
so a normal face, but I had very hairy hands.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. What did you see? Did you get a good look? Get a look at the face at all?
Mm, I got to see a little bit of it, but I honestly can't tell you much.
Okay, okay. If I were to get a police sketch artist here, would you be willing to sit down and talk with them and describe for them everything you saw?
I could try. But
That would be.
I'm not senile. I'm telling you, I'm not.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm not worried about that at all. And actually, about roughly where was this shape at when you looked out the window? Can you show me?
And when it was far enough away. I mean, it was on the other side of the street.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do, ma'am, is I'm going to walk over to the other side of the street, and can you please talk to my friend here and tell them when I am far enough away, when I am roughly far enough away about where that shape was that you saw. Okay? And I'm going to have them kind of wave their hands at me to let me know that I'm the correct distance. Then once I'm there, I'm going to go see if I can go find some boxes or something, and I'm just going to keep climbing and go as tall as I can until you tell me it's roughly about as tall as you saw.
You're gonna get boxes?
I'll get whatever I can over there to see, make myself as tall as possible, if maybe climb in a car or something along those lines. So I just want to see how tall the shape was that you saw. Okay?
Okay. I'm not sure how it's going to help.
It
So
just kind of
we're
it's
looking-
it's to help me, just to give me a nice visual about what you saw, ma'am. That's
I
all.
mean, I was sleeping, so maybe it was something that I dreamt in my sleep. I don't know. It was.
Well, ma'am, why don't we let's just take a look at it. Let's just go figure it out for ourselves. All right?
Okay, it's at this point that the advert break cuts in, and we get an advert for like a bunch of random junk, and then when we come back, Vinny is standing on a 3-foot box holding a hand
It's
up.
it's a Flintstones ad for cigarettes.
Yeah. Yeah, we get the Flintstones ad.
Good, like a cigarette should. Thanks, Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, we get that, and then when it cuts back, Vinny is standing on a 3-foot tall box, and he's got a hand lifted up in the air to roughly 10.5 feet, and Elle is giving him a thumbs up as the old lady is nodding.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that's the
come on
sign.
back. Take a note as far as like noting the exact location, based on the height, okay, where I was, so roughly 10.5 feet based on perspective.
He had
So
these
taking
really
notations and all that.
weird shoes too.
Now looking down at that spot where I'm standing, is it grass or is it concrete?
Concrete.
Concrete.
Mhm.
Is there any scrape marks or any like shavings, anything marking wise on the concrete to dictate somebody landing here of heavy weight? Like for example, if you're jumping out of a window or something like that, you would be landing very heavy even on concrete. You still might make an imprint.
Yeah, actually, there would be an imprint.
Okay. What's like when I look at the imprint, does it look like something like real heavy landed on it, like in a small location, and you're seeing like cracks kind of in the
You're
concrete?
definitely seeing.
There are some faint cracks that, if you didn't know better, you would say somebody came out here with a sledgehammer and took one good solid whack.
Yeah. And somebody hit the fuck out of it. So, but in its they're wide though. It's like, for example, when you fell, and like whatever the hell this thing was fell. It's going to land with feet somewhat parted, so you're going to see an impact, but it's going to be spread out over a location.
Well,
Correct?
does it look like claw marks? Is a better question.
More like hooves.
I'm not there.
No, but you bring up a fair point. Is where I was going with
The
this. Yeah.
spreading seems more kind of like a hoof.
Like a horse hoof.
Yeah.
Draw that out on a piece of paper and kind of also take like a sketching.
Mhm.
You know, where you put like piece of paper over it with a pencil, so you can kind of get, going over to the size, get the exact size. Looking around here, this is still 1920s Boston, so there still might be police riding like horses.
Oh, there
Or
would
what?
be. There would definitely
Are there any around here currently?
be. Not until the evening.
Okay. I go find the detective. Tell them everything we found out from the lady, all the evidence that we saw. Asked about them, sending over a police sketch artist to go talk to the old woman.
Mhm.
Then I go grab Elle, because I don't want them to have to deal with the old lady this whole time. And then come back, and then go back. I want to go back and review what we found with the detective, because I want to make sure that there was no, at least recently, there haven't been any chases on horseback or anything else that would explain hoof marks in this location.
Strong enough to leave hoof marks.
Minotaur.
The detective Peach. Hoof marks.
Yes, sir. Hoof marks.
And what's over it? Does kind of look like a hoof mark. So well, we do have a couple of, but they're in the evening. They don't normally come in during the day. That have horses that they ride the streets at night.
Okay.
It's rather quicker sometimes. I could bring them in to check and see if any of the shoes would fit. But let me get a measurement for this right now. And he goes to,
Right.
oh, by the way, the artist is on his way. He'll be here in
Thank you.
probably about 5 minutes. So
Point out all the hoof marks and stuff to Elle. Have him take a look. Any ideas?
Not really. Not unless this is You know what? I'm not going to speculate with the wild amount of people around.
Yeah, this is a little bit outside of my wheelhouse here, so we'll have to.
Oh no, it's
Reconvene.
going to be coming inside your wheelhouse if you're going to keep working with, who we work with.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
I mean, I guess we go to the last townhouse, the last
Yeah.
neighbor, just to see if we corroborate any of this.
Yeah, let's go talk to him so we can see if there's any more information we can pull.
Maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be no one there.
just your luck.
You know, it's funny that you say that.
that.
'Cause, yeah, when you go up and knock on that door,
Nobody's
There's-
there.
there's absolutely no answer.
I walk across the street, assuming Maxwell's still giving a statement to Officer Dewey.
Yeah, he's standing there with a plate of scrambled eggs as he's eating away, and there's a bunch of nodding at that guy's like scribbling stuff down. He kind of has this paranoid look of the guy that's a brick shithouse compared to him.
Maxwell, is there anybody that lives in that building? Point to the one we got no answer for.
He takes a moment finishing the stuff that he's eaten, and then kind of gestures across like, there was a while back. It might be up for sale.
Oh, well.
There was an older guy there at one point. I don't know if he moved or died or whatever. There was a younger guy around. I'm assuming his son, so maybe he was dealing with some stuff or whatever. And then there was a guy that kind of looked like a realtor, so I'm assuming that he moved away or went and the family's selling.
Okay. Thank you. Go back to Vivi.
Yeah, no worries. He goes back to eat these eggs.
Oh, Vinny, apparently there is no third neighbor, so... And not entirely sure, talking to the rest of the... I think we can leave it for the footpads.
Agreed.
So, how long do you guys stay there?
After that,
Right, after that, I think we're done.
Yeah, I would be like, maybe we should head back to the archives, see if Nathaniel and Francis, they're gonna be out there for a while.
Agreed.
Okay. Just
We can
prior
merge-
to you being able to actually leave, is because it's been like a further 15-ish minutes, with waiting to potentially get an answer at the third house. But just prior to being able to leave, the sketch artist comes over and sort of scratches her head and
His
is
head.
like, "You're the detective, yeah? That's to detect." Kind of
Yes,
pointing at Vinny.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and they're like, "Okay, have a look at this," and they show you the picture.
Okay.
And the weirdest thing is, right? Karsa, describe the picture, because you're the one who's decided what this looks like. You got to deal with
All
it.
right, yeah. If somebody's face could be smashed inward really heavy, it would be with the snout and a lot of very deep vein crevices in the chin. But it actually, the face is without hair. It almost looks like a Neanderthal type of Neanderthal type face with the big eyebrow crease that, I mean, you could literally put a fist into the eye socket and it's that deep.
We looking at Cro-Magnon too?
Yeah.
All right, Vinny, we are dropping this case. We are not fucking with Marv.
Oh shit! You
Yep.
didn't tell me about the mitts.
Yep, nope. Because I'm not going to. Nope, we are not dealing with Marv. We're out of here.
I draw the line. Goldie.
In fact, we should go find him
Said
to
her
help.
name was Goldie.
That way,
Yep.
we guarantee he's not fucking with us.
But you also notice that the guy has a very long, triangular type ears.
If anyone can check Discord, I
Yep.
literally
I see
guessed.
it.
Well, yeah.
Sort of. That would
looks
kind of
familiar.
fit.
Can't remember what it's from.
Demon cop.
Fair enough. That's right.
Except he's not a demon and he's not a cop. He's more a Wolfman patrol officer. Patrol, not patrol.
Wolficer.
So that face, that obviously I said it enough that it came out. Particularly that face, only in a trench coat. Then you notice the big it looks like clown shoes, but they're kind of pointed upward on the back.
Like high heels?
Like as if they were standing on their if they were
It kind of
Like
looks like, yeah, no, it kind of looks like they're standing up on like tiptoes.
yeah, tiptoes. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's the impression that the stance that's been described when they were drawing out this shape kind of gives. The other point that the woman didn't mention when she was talking to you, but has detailed to them, is that there appears to be a faint outline of a door on the wall behind, and there's a little note that's saying magic door ?
What?
Yeah, and the sketch artist kind of motions to it and is like, yeah, she described that it was like they opened a door in the wall and just went through. And then there's this kind of shrug gesture as if to say, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. They described this doorway, and yeah, when you look at the faint doorway on the image, it kind of looks like, instead of drawing like straight lines, there's a deliberate wobble. So it kind of makes you think maybe it's supposed to be like some kind of like ethereal thing is what's been described, and they've just tried to do their best to take what that is and put it into the visual.
Man, if we're going up against werewolves that are casting Dimension Door, I don't want to deal with this case either.
Really wish Francis were here right now. He'd know what was going on.
Well, I mean,
Now we're gonna have to deal with people going into the fucking Umbra.
yeah. You know, we just keep circling back to werewolf. we haven't not yet.
Alright.
Can I take this sketch?
He nods.
All right, thank you. Heck, let's head back to the archives. Unless Nathaniel's got anything pressing he wants to deal with still at the mansion, I think we can merge the timelines here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nope, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so
Alright,
we
well-
are going to merge the timelines back, and you.
Yeah, so remind us what the last thing is that you were doing, Nathaniel.
Speeding away
Hmm.
from what's his name's house.
Yeah.
With all of the like notes and samples that I took,
Okay.
Perfect.
with the intention of myself and Francis spending quite a bit of time going over them. By which I mean Francis really spending quite a bit of time going over them.
Oh yeah,
Well, that's exactly
Yeah, you-
what Francis is doing right now.
yeah. You managed
We both
to
contributed to this, but I
acquire.
by far had the more dangerous job.
Yeah. You've managed to acquire a vast quantity of research notes and stuff, which, leafing through them on the return trip, Francis was very interested in. So yeah, as soon as you got back to the archives, he immediately just like grabs a whole bunch and basically rushes in because he's got a big table to sort out with all these documents and a lot of red string that needs, connected.
And he doesn't want to be bothered.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
have that kind of look of I must go, my people need me, as he rushes off, and you're like, cool. You go with all of those documents. My work is done.
All these notes are belong to me.
Yeah, basically.
What was the name of that guy again?
Dexter
Willit.
Willit.
Dexter Willit.
Mhm.
Yes.
What was his son's name?
I don't know.
We never really gave him a name. But we
Michael.
can. Yeah, Michael will work.
Junior.
Michael Jr.
No, you know what? You know
so
what?
Dexter
If
Willit
was married to a guy?
Dexter, then yeah,
His name is Junior.
Very progressive for the 20s. Actually, I think it's
Junior
legal.
Junior.
Dexter
No.
Junior is Dexter Junior the second Esquire.
There we go.
The kid was a lawyer at 16.
No.
Reminds
He's
me
a
of,
legal. He's a legal prodigy.
No.
It's like,
Good for him.
No.
the other guy in his graduating class, senior, junior.
No,
Yeah,
we'll just.
exactly.
It's Dexter Willit Jr. Or unless you want to go with Michael Dexter Willit Jr. There we go.
It
I'm
depends
more
what
confused.
you write in the sheet.
4 names.
Yeah, because he's greedy that way.
Yeah.
But does he have 2 first names?
Michael Dexter.
I was making a Ricky Bobby reference.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway, so while you lot were investigating a gunshot in an audio drama, like gives an incredulous look, Francis
Yeah.
and I found gold. Not literal, well, possibly literal, but more metaphorical gold. Turns out, Dexter Jr., totally a Dracula.
Okay.
Sleeping in a coffin and everything.
Okay. Our investigation actually wasn't just one person shot at a studio. Turns out that there are 2 other murders related to it, and all 3 victims were at the party we were at New Year's Eve.
Okay, yes, but that party was a who's who. Theoretically, lots of people should be there. Or should have been
But all
there,
three-
rather.
All 3 of them killed within the last week.
It's a dangerous city.
With brands
We were
related to
we're
the 7 deadly
connected there,
sins.
if you died.
All 3 branded with one of the 7 deadly sins on them.
Damn it. Alright.
Also, it might be a werewolf that's doing it.
A furry? Interesting.
Sure. I showed the sketch.
Alright. Draculas and now furries. What's that?
Yeah, sounds like the boy's got his work cut out for him. You'll have
And
to
what would-
inquire with the top men.
And what would you expect me to do sitting outside of a house?
You would just say, no, we didn't sit outside. I broke in. That's where I found all this stuff. Really could have used an extra pair of hands. If even one more person were there, we could have at least made the attempt to abduct the vampire child.
Well, simply knowing that fact is enough at the moment. Well, that adds a pretty big piece to the puzzle.
Yeah,
Really?
Francis is currently going over. I found a bunch of research notes, all sorts of things. Like, again, Francis is going over the finer details, but my guess is child got very sick. What did he have? Like polio, leukemia, what was it? Rickets?
Polio, I think.
Polio.
Kid had polio. Salk isn't famous yet. So, father got very desperate looking for cures. Turns out, ideal cure, killing the child and resurrecting them as a vampire. Also now means that the Mr. Dexter, or what was it, Willit? Mr. Willit,
Yep.
owes some Draculas quite a bit of scratch. Could probably be very easily manipulated into assisting them in the future.
I think he already was.
Well, like, future and past going forward. Like, this isn't a situation that's resolved now.
Fair, but there's at least 2 less of them to put any pressure on him.
Yes, but more could happen at any time. That's why we need to figure out what to do. Know the location of a current vampire, of a current Dracula. Know where they sleep during the day. What do we do with this information?
We wait for Francis to finish doing what he's doing with the notes, because by the time we get back there, the sun's already setting.
Very true. It'd be very dangerous to go back there now.
And it seems Mr. Willit keeps to a pretty precise schedule. So we do want to go for assassinate the vampire. Just do it in the morning.
Well, the thing is, when you were at the docks, you very clearly saw Willit in direct sunlight.
Not Willit, his son.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
that's-
referring to his son. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to Willit Senior.
And no, when we saw Willit at the docks, it was very much nighttime. It's 10 p.m.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
right, it was an unseasonably 2nd of January. There was swamp gas, right? There was swamp gas. It was reflecting.
Swamp gas that reflected off of Venus and somehow became sunlight.
Yep. It was bouncing the well-known UV output of Venus.
Now, here's the thing. He's a very public figure. We already know
By
he's
that
not-
logic,
we
wouldn't
know he's not a
Moonlight
vampire.
then also herd vampires? Like, by that logic.
Oh, dude, there's a perfect little webcomic of that where they're like, wait, why are you out in the moonlight? He's like, I'm only hurt by sunlight. Yeah, but moonlight is just reflected sunlight. And the vampire's like, wait, what? Explodes in the
Yeah.
dust.
Yeah, like you're only hurt by sunlight because you believe it. That's why for generations you've been out in the moonlight with no problem.
No, but that's a fair point, though. The man's a politician. Like, there's no way for a politician to, like, not go out during the day and remain a credible force. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, he goes
yeah,
out. He's still doing his job. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, if we want to
I
sneak
did
in
make
and,
that
like,
point
stake
before.
the kid, just go tomorrow.
actually, I wasn't thinking of staking the kid. I was thinking of just, like, taking the child. Because then we have leverage over Willit, which we can use to get further, which we can use to then get deeper into this mystery.
Fair, we do need to figure out where the fucking amulet. But the problem is, do we really have anywhere safe to like keep the kid? I mean, I guess we could keep him in the archives, but then I worry about what happens if he breaks out.
I mean, So, in a theoretical universe in which we are fictional characters being controlled by people speaking over some kind of interconnected, Zoom thing, and that we each have character sheets that are used for these, I do in fact have a van with the monster cage keyword.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, the thought occurs to Nathaniel, and he gets that crazy look in his eyes, and then he eventually is like, "Well, my truck is really reinforced, like way more than most trucks."
It is deliberately designed to hold supernatural creatures.
But it's deliberately designed to hold vampires.
It should.
It's monster cage.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
what was the point of
exactly.
It's not so
Yeah,
much that, but the sun. Are you going to be cooking it inside?
It's
Oh, he can have his coffin.
I mean, it's also not useful if there's windows on it because windows are just weak points.
Yeah.
True.
Also, we
Yeah,
could
I mean-
park it in shade if we needed to. Like, worst comes to worst, we can park it in shade.
I mean,
Yeah.
we had it in a
Well,
fucking parking
let's
garage
remember-
when the witch broke out.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember as well, Karsa, that the description of Nathaniel's van is basically a heavily modified paddy wagon,
Right.
which is essentially steel box on wheels.
Yeah, the only opening was on the back door, and it was specifically a slide, if I remember right.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Right, correct.
Speaking of which, when that witch broke out, I've since re-examined it. I don't want that to be happening again, especially considering that, caging monsters is one of the primary things it's useful for.
True.
So I've been re-examining it and just reinforcing all sorts of any possible failure points.
Mhm.
Rechecking the rechecking the strength of the joints that rechecking the strength of the casters on which the wheels of the doors open, just making absolutely sure that when this thing locks and closes, nothing's getting out.
Unless you wanted to.
Unless I do. Fair enough, yeah. Like, Like, I could set up a series of traps, and that would serve the same purpose. Like,
Well, I bet wanted to, as in I opened one of us opens the door.
yeah.
All right. I'm actually strangely comfortable with this idea.
All right, let's go kidnap Kid.
We're not doing it now. He's gonna wake up by the time we get there.
All right, fair enough. So what about this furry?
I mean, we got it from a potentially senile old lady, so I don't know the veracity of this particular sketch. But as far as Vinny can put together, whatever killed. Oh, by the way, there's a second body. This one wasn't branded, but it was the guy who killed one of the other people who was branded. Yeah, it's getting a little weird. The dude was like
Now,
10 feet tall.
I wouldn't say it's too much of a stretch. So they're each dying with one of the 7 deadly sins branded onto them.
Except for victim 4.
Because he was shot by victim 5, right?
Well, if we find a 10-foot tall furry dude, then sure, victim 5. No, we only have 3 victims. We have one tagged with lust or desire, whichever version you want to go with. One tagged with avarice and one tagged with pride. Victim 4 killed the one tagged with pride and was killed by said potential whatever the fuck this thing is.
That is strange, yeah, because that means there's no direct connection. What can you tell me about Victim 4?
Worked at the radio show with Victim 3. Caleb
Yeah.
something or other, I forgot his last name already.
Victim 3 was Pride, right?
Yes. Oh, and
Okay.
well, he was pride because he thought he was. Well, everybody thought he was good at his job, and he thought he was good enough to move on up in the world. Was probably very vocal about it and how much he. If we looked into it, it's probably something along the lines of how much better he is than everybody else around there, and how much the show is underutilizing his talents. Blah 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 blah.
Humility is a false virtue. But continue, please.
Yeah. He was the prop manager on the show, which gave him access to the prop gun. So when they did the rehearsal, they used the prop gun, and when they were actually on the show, he used the real gun.
And just, like, straight up shot him.
Yes.
Did anyone see him, like, leave? Or was there anyone else in the room when it happened? Was he, like, surprised? Or was this 100% intentional?
Can't say 100% for sure because he's dead. My buddy's unintentional, given that he was obsessed with one of his coworkers. Obsessed in a physical sense, physical and potentially romantic, but a very weird, off-color version of romantic.
How so?
He had an entire wall of photos of her, and apparently he would hit on her at every opportunity.
Now this wall of photos, are we, like, were they all pictures of her where she was aware she was being photographed?
I look at Vinny.
You would say
Vinny looks at the voices.
No.
There were a couple of large, like, promotional pictures because, you know, she's got, like, her own acting stuff.
Well,
There were a couple of those, but then there was, like, over 50 aware photos.
Yeah, ignoring the promotional images because that's just posters. I don't care about people having posters. That happens all the time. Aside from the promotional images, which whatever. No, it very much looked like it was discreet.
What was the name of? I'm sorry, hold on. I got a quick reminder. I need a quick reminder from the voices. The name of that like major mob boss who controls like half the city and who was what was his again?
Richie.
Richie?
Yeah.
Richie.
Richie, thank you.
Yeah.
Good here for a second, yeah. Okay, so you've been to my apartment, right? Okay. So is it like my obsession board over Richie, trying to like pin down the web of conspiracies? I too have many pictures of him posted up on my wall. There's like red string connecting things.
No. A neighbor also heard him talking about various things he would do to her if they were ever alone.
And this guy wasn't the lust death.
No, it's funny that you brought up Ricci. His woman was the lust murder.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, she used to work for me as a lady of the night.
Yeah, no, but that's like survival. Nobody becomes a prostitute because they like having sex too much. They do it because they need money to eat.
I don't know. I found out about
The
it.
people
while
who
we were
hire
looking at
prostitutes
it.
that are guilty of lust more than anything.
I don't know. Haven't had a chance to go talk to Ricci myself. And honestly, he probably knows she's dead, and I kind of don't want to talk to him right now.
Yeah, fair. All right, so okay. It sounds like the furry guy kind of did the world a favor here. Like, is there any connection with the furry guy and literally any of the other victims?
No. I was going to actually. I was going to put this on the back burner for now. I think the vampire thing is higher priority right now. Although this unfortunately means that there are at least 4 more victims coming, unless some of them haven't been found yet.
So we've been investigating, like, the all of these scenes. They've been making the papers that are being investigated, right?
No, I didn't know about it until I talked to the detective that Vinny knows.
This should be front page news. Are you kidding me? What is going on in this country that this isn't the most interesting thing?
I don't know. I grab a newspaper.
I walk over to the front of the archives and I grab like today's paper. What's the headline?
Well, see, you guys hadn't been talking about whether or not you were reading the news.
Well,
so
here's the thing, right?
We didn't say anything about it.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, when you
Well,
look
I also
at the
don't.
paper,
I also don't mention when I take a shit. That doesn't mean that I don't. Like, of course I shit the paper.
Well, yes, it does. It means you take immediately 8 harm as you shit yourself sideways and go into orbit. So, yeah, because you've been holding it in far too long. So, yeah, you pick up the paper, you have a look at it. The headline is "Stuff Happening." Very interesting. There's a news article that starts with lorem ipsum, some other made up bullshit stuff. You flick through, and by about page 7 is where you find a very short, to the point thing written about a local business owner being found dead. And it mentions, let me grab the name here. It's a short article about a Melanie Schumer who was found dead in her apartment.
Now, this
And
is
that's
an interesting
essentially-
question because
Oh, because here's the thing. That's basically all the article says. Local business owner Melanie Schumer found dead in apartment. Police investigating. That is
Vinny,
the extent of the article.
Vinny, you
No
know
mention of
that name.
no mention of like the being branded with one of the
Which
7
name?
deadly sins thing.
Melanie
Oh, well,
Schumer was the one that you were with at the party that night.
Okay.
Who is you in this context?
Vinny.
And the person I was with, and what was the article say again? I'm sorry.
She's dead.
Literally just says local
Murdered
business
in
owner
home.
Melanie Schumer murdered within her home.
Well,
Police are investigating.
Nathaniel, to be fair, they're branded in a obscure language that literally only one person in this room speaks right now.
I mean, fair, but still, the fact that people are showing up dead branded in a strange foreign language, like that should be getting. Like,
Yes.
come on, this is how newsies eat.
No. I'm actually on your side with this one.
Yeah. Who is successfully suppressing this? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I have enough money. I'm going to start buying them newspapers.
So you're going to be the catalyst for the fact that these days you can control the American media.
Well, no, I'm trying to break it. Apparently, it's already being controlled.
Yeah, somebody's like seriously.
To be fair, right? To be fair,
For God's sakes, there are people
It's
actually making up
1929.
news stories in the year of our Lord 1929. Like,
yeah.
Dear Lord.
there are people
Well,
actually
at-
making up
at the same
sensationalist
time-
stories in order to sell more copies.
At the same time, you can only really report on a news story that's actually happening if journalists are made aware. if people are being quiet about it and not talking about it to people who write for newspapers, then it's not going to appear in the newspaper.
I mean, that's kind of the entire point. That's the journalist's job, though, to find the stuff that nobody. Anyway, whatever. I just found a new source of income.
And what's that?
I'm gonna just start selling like hints about the stuff that we're investigating to the local papers.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Because apparently
Okay.
some force is preventing them from finding it out from other places. If nobody else is getting that sweet bribe money, I will.
All right, now I have shifted to not being on your side.
Tabloid, huh?
Bat Boy found in Brazil.
First tabloid.
Anyway, so but the police, the regular police, have also been investigating all of these, correct?
Yes, although it doesn't seem that they're getting much manpower behind it. Seems there's only one detective on them right now.
Again, this is strange because there's clearly a connection. But anyway, and at least
Well-
one, like some of them are fairly prominent people.
Actually, all of them are, except for
Yeah.
the hooker.
Exactly. But anyway, all right. But if they're doing an investigation, that means that they're at least like doing their attempted crime scene analysis. I'm sure they have somebody there taking pictures of each of the crime scenes and of the corpses as they were covered. Correct?
Yeah, I'll write out the brands for you, and I've given them a little heads up and write out the other ones they're looking for.
No. I need to find out who that photographer is.
Oh, I don't know. Ask Vinny.
Because if it's Kevin Spacey,
Who the hell is Kevin Spacey?
Well, if
Because
it
if
was
it's
Kevin
Kevin
Spacey,
Spacey-
well, it could be Kevin Spacey. He is one of the usual suspects.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, like, okay, this entire thing has
I
been
know.
an excuse to make an elaborate reference to the
Seven,
movie
yep.
Seven.
yup.
But yeah. Detective!
What's in the box?
What's in the box, man?
According to the original thing that the studio wanted, the head of one of the dogs,
Correct.
which just proves the point. Never let the studio gain control because clearly they don't know how good a director they have.
Never let the producers get control. We basically
they're
said the
okay.
same thing.
Let's not get
Yeah.
into this. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll file this under Deadly Sin Serial Killer.
Actually,
And-
I mean, yes. While we're doing that, it's just I'm gonna grab an intern. Hey, could you find Ashley and bring her here?
They scurry off.
Okay, that intern needs to actually be paid. I didn't know he could climb on the ceiling.
It's not on the ceiling. It's not on the ceiling. It's like 4 feet up the wall
Same thing.
at very high speed. Like there are
Bizarrely,
actual
that's
paper
even
gets thrown up
creepier.
off the wall.
A little bit
Yeah.
longer. Not,
That's the thing.
not
Like
much
as
longer.
we watch this, Nathaniel. Bizarrely, it's even creepier than if they had done it on the ceiling.
Yeah, you're right on that one. I still think he should be paid though.
Well, what a feeling. Dancing on the ceiling.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, but that's weird though because so the guy the voice actor,
Yes, Caleb something or other.
Caleb something or other. It's a Russian name. Caleb. He also had the brand, but he was shot while in the studio while giving a performance.
Yes. So what I think happened is because as soon as he was shot, his co-star Miss Trellis, which I believe her first name was Rose. Correct me if I'm wrong. DM.
Yes, it was Rosie.
Okay. As soon as the gun went off, she basically ran for the hills and hid in a storage closet.
And our perp, Victim 4, he took then the time to brand. Somehow he got a branding iron, smuggled into the studio, heated it
Well,
up, and then proceeded to brand this guy with the word pride before also running out of the studio.
I don't think so. I think he was coerced by whoever's orchestrating the rest of these murders. I think these brands are done supernaturally.
Do you think they're done pre or post mortem?
Post.
Post, okay. Supernaturally done post mortem. I'd suggest actually taking this description of the furry and going back through each of the other victims and seeing if there's been any more sightings of them. For the record, like, so far, there's nothing to indicate that Mr. Furry here is probably involved in some way, but there's nothing to suggest that he's causing it. Like, he did murder the guy who murdered them.
I think
but that also.
I think this guy's a heavy for whoever's actually orchestrating all this.
Possibly. Although, wouldn't that then also mean that there's 3 more separate killers out there for each of the other victims?
Probably, and they might also be dead.
Well, again, that's something to look for. Like, other people in those circles going missing. Because at least in this case, the perpetrator knew the victim quite well.
Yes, that's why I'm asking Ashley here. A, I was going to see if she had any idea what the fuck this thing is. And B, if we have any of our own guys to do any legwork to see.
Time to ask Ashley.
Ashley walks in. You needed my help, Elle?
Yes. So, we've been looking into this whole vampire thing.
Yes, I do know that.
Well, on our way to...
Any news? Anything at all?
Yes, Dexter Willit's son is in fact a vampire.
Oh.
And our current working plan is tomorrow during the day, we're going to go and kidnap his son and use him as a bargaining chip.
Interesting. Has Hayden heard about that?
No, and I don't think he's going to care.
It's at that point you immediately hear the statement being called from around a bookcase going, "You fucking what?" As Hayden comes in and goes, "You're doing what now?"
I didn't stutter. Yes, we're going to go and kidnap the vampire child, leave him in Nathaniel's monster cage. And use it as a bargaining chip to get Willett to tell us about where the medallion went, amulet thing.
Well, he didn't have it when he left. Plus, he left shortly before the actual thing.
Right, but he's working with the vampires who took it, so he's working with the people who took it.
To which, as far as we're aware, the only person that we know was directly involved who left the island was Willett, and he did not have the medallion at the time.
No, but that doesn't mean he wasn't given it later.
On the assumption that the amulet left the island.
Well, finding it on the island has been, unfortunately, Hayden, your job.
Yes, well, we are taking our time with that cave.
Right.
Mostly the kind of, I don't want any random people just wandering around.
I understand that. And I'll take out all the evidence that we found at the archaeologist's place, the professor's place. He has been this man who was contacted by whoever wants the amulet for the translations. Was contacted by Willett directly. He is involved in this.
Well, considering you're telling me that his son's a vampire, yeah, clearly.
If you want us to back off on this, you're going to have to be straightforward about it. Otherwise, we're going to continue to do what we do.
I'm not asking you to back off on it. I was actually just more surprised that that's what you're doing.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have an additional plan. Well, I do, but I don't like it.
Why not? What's your other plan?
It means informing him that we know that his son's a vampire without actually doing anything to the child, but at that point he might move him or shut down or flee.
I can see why you don't like that.
Yes. I mean, he could take the long approach, whereas we just continue to watch and stake out, investigate, and hope that he leads us to whoever he's having dealings with. Yeah, until he comes back. Yes, the long form approach could work, but I'm not convinced of that one. I could keep playing mind games with him. I was contemplating calling him again and prodding at him because we did call him for a meeting at the docks, to which he did show up, which means he's actually kind of desperate.
Interesting.
As we all know, there's nothing better than a desperate perp.
Yes, I know. Which, to go hand in hand with that, if we actually do kidnap his son, he could have a complete meltdown and go to war, although he wouldn't know where his son is at. There's, fortunately, there's downsides to every one of these ideas.
Yes, I believe it depends on if his son has been turned. It depends on the type.
Well, I have some samples, blood samples, lots of them.
Oh,
And he was sleeping in a coffin.
No, I got these from a laboratory nearby. But they were clearly like taking samples of the son's blood and doing tests.
well, I dare say our lead researcher would be interested in what you were able to acquire.
Okay.
We
Well-
might actually be able to find out what type they are.
Alright. So Nathaniel, maybe we hold off on the whole kidnapping plan. For now, I still think it's the best play, unfortunately, but maybe we shift the time frame back a little bit until Francis finishes with the notes, Ashley finishes with the blood.
Alright.
Well, a possible support is depending on what type he is. We may be able to effectively reinforce a holding cell here if necessary. But the thing you have to understand about it is, depending on which type they are, seems to determine what unnatural abilities they have. Not all
That makes
vampires
sense.
are created equal.
Makes sense.
And I haven't directly interacted with some of the types, but going by what I've learned over the years, there are some which, for want of a better term, seem to be able to feel the presence of others of their kind, whether it's any other vampires or those specific to their, for want of a better term, and you can clearly tell he really hates this, for want of a better term, their bloodline seems
Well,
to maybe be tied to that. I
Back.
don't fully understand.
Little bit of
Welcome
a sidebar on this. If we do kidnap this child, once he's done being useful as a bargaining chip, I will execute him. I need you to understand this.
He looks at you for a moment and then lifts up one arm, undoing the button on his right sleeve, and pulls back the sleeve, showing like basically third-degree burns up his arm. Right? And then says, "You can kill every single fucking one of them. I will support that."
I'll look at
What are you
Nathaniel.
talking about? Al, we're not killing the kid. The kid died years ago.
Ashley
You know what I mean,
normally wears
said-
We are
Ashley,
consecrating a corpse.
I could barely hear you, not
Yeah,
Nathaniel.
you're like real far away, but I know what he said. He basically said, "You can't kill him. He's already dead."
Yeah, we're consecrating a corpse.
Yeah.
Ashley pulls away from she often wears like really large jewels, or she's wearing a scarf around her neck, but you almost never see her neck. She takes it off. Yeah, I don't care if they die.
Well, to Nathaniel's point, they're already dead. What I mean is,
That's not what
This-
I mean. As she
this- no,
shows you
hang on.
her neck.
yeah. What I'm getting at is, this vampire will look like a child. Will look like a teenager.
Wait, we're getting to kill a vampire and a teenager?
Ignore him. I need you to understand that it is very human to look upon them and
Yeah,
to have doubt.
as he's putting the sleeve back down and recuffing everything, he looks between Elle and Ashley and then back to Elle, saying, "We fully understand what they are,
We've been through this.
and we are very much aware that what appears to be a child is not a child.
We've
Oh, so you've encountered child vampires?
Unfortunately, yes. You do not have
Okay.
to
This is much easier.
pitch the idea. We are on board."
we are on board.
Oh no, this wasn't pitching an idea. This was a statement of fact. It was going to
Yeah.
happen regardless of what you said.
Yes. The fact is, we understand and completely agree.
I hope you understand, though, I will not be going near your paddy wagon while you have that thing in your paddy wagon.
Wouldn't expect you to. The only people that will be there will be those that are armed and trained to deal with it. Speaking of, we need to train a few interns on this. Oh, can we train the spider guy? Like,
Yeah, but
usually-
when you say that, you glance over your shoulder, you see between a couple books, there's a pair of eyes. He's clearly on the roof.
yeah, like, dude,
No,
you deserve more than they're paying you.
Nathan, yeah, Hayden does kind of mention, like, we do have a number of people who have been trained
Okay.
in these things. We've actually gotten a few extras from offsite to come round, seeing as we have had this problem crop up.
Right. Actually, I actually wanted to ask you about something else, but
Yeah.
this came up. Hand her the sketch. What the fuck is this? Or at least, what do you think it is?
It has hooves.
Some kind of furry.
And it's furry.
And it walks on its feet like a wolf would on its back legs.
Well, she starts. Give me a little bit of time. I will see what I can come up with. And she starts bringing out books.
Hayden, I think we're also going to need a few people to do some legwork while we're dealing with the vampire situation. There's another problem happening concurrently, unfortunately.
Okay.
3 people have been killed. I'm sure you heard about the star of the Shadow show, Caleb. Insert last name here.
Wait.
What was it? Wait?
Wait.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
Caleb Wait.
Caleb Wait being killed on air.
Yes.
Well, he was branded with the Enochian symbol for pride.
Okay.
A general practitioner doctor, whose name I forgot. Dr.
Wait, Ashley subs. Dr. Demes?
Yes. Ashley, let me finish. I have a little bit more information to go with that. He was killed and branded with the Enochian symbol for greed. You guys remember seeing Salvatore Ricci at the New Year's party?
Yes.
Remember the woman he was with?
Yeah.
She was killed and branded with Enochi's symbol for desire.
Kind of bullshit.
Actually, yeah. That was interesting because we had some of our guys go there. That's how we found out about that one. I haven't had time to talk to you guys about it. But our guys found her.
Yes, so tell all of our associates to stay away from Richie as much as they can for a while until he calms down.
If you need to know what he looks like, I can show you. I've got pictures.
Oh, we're well aware of what Rachel looks like.
Considering I bet he's tried reaching out to some of your contacts.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Tangentially, maybe
every
about
hour, he's rather upset right now.
That makes sense. I believe they were. I would guess he was getting close to proposing.
Yeah, that sounds much about correct.
So the problem is, I think there are going to be 4 other bodies with these brands of the 4 other sins. Unfortunately, it seems that most of these rumors are being kept quiet, and I don't know how, and I don't know why. So I
Money
think,
talks. Money
well,
keeps the mouth shut.
yes, apparently Mr. Waite was also at the New Year's Eve party. So that's going to narrow the list a lot. Because you don't have to search the entire city, you just have to search that list.
Oh.
Yeah, we still have that list, so yeah, I'll have some of our people cross-reference and try and do some calls around, see if they can track down the others.
Now, as far as the sketch, the man who killed Mr. Waite, Alan Schrecker, was killed by who or whatever this thing is.
Well, now
Or as
here's
far
the
as the
situation.
old lady says.
It shows hooves. Hooves don't work with werewolves.
I didn't say werewolf. It was described with the way the shoes were that it could have been that.
It's a furry.
And if you're stepping on a shoe like that, it could look something like a hoof mark.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying one way or the other, but it was wearing shoes, and if you're wearing hooves, wearing shoes is very difficult.
Well, they'd have to be huge.
They'd have to be very specially made, and those prints... Vinny would have found those prints in the carpet at Mr. Trekker's place.
Well,
Apparently, this
cross-reference.
this thing is also 10 feet tall.
That's
And uses a gun, so I highly doubt it's worth it. It doesn't have horns, so it can't be a minotaur.
Well, in fairness, some of these things have strange, unbreakable rules.
That was very much L joking.
it used a gun, so it can't what?
Be a werewolf.
Yeah.
Why use a gun when your claws do so much more damage?
Right. That's confusing.
Also, apparently, it can open up doors, or rip open reality to use doors to disappear through walls.
Oh, now
Again-
that narrows it down a bit.
This is coming from an old lady who fell asleep a lot.
So it could be totally... She could have thought of it
Oh, no.
as her dream? Like a
Maybe.
lucid dream?
Some of it, maybe. The size, Vinny could corroborate just based off of the shoe prints he found inside the apartment. The hoof print on the concrete If whatever this thing was able to damage concrete like that with its steps, there'd be a lot more hoof prints.
True.
I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying it's just a little off. So, look into both hoof prints and non-hoof prints. I think is the thing I'm getting at. I don't want to get caught. Have a piece of evidence that actually isn't a piece of evidence.
Well, that's going to be quite a bit. Yeah, you have to give me a little bit of time on this one.
That's fine. We're focusing on the vampire thing.
Did you
Good
find
news, you
any
guys don't
fur at one of the fur at all?
I look at the now turkey Vinny. He was doing all the forensic work. This is me asking the GMs because the player who would have the info is not here.
After about an hour, he would have gotten a message saying, yeah, they did find fur.
There you go.
So we do have real fur. Well, that's interesting.
Well, what the cops think is fur.
Hair, fur. What is it?
This is me saying I don't trust their abilities.
Yeah, I understood.
So look at Hayden, which means you're probably gonna have to pull some strings to get a sample. Fortunately. By us, I mean her. Okay, good talk.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. The fact that it doesn't have horns throws me off, though.
Huh?
Yeah, Hayden kind of shrugs, looks at the picture, and is like, "Well, I mean, there are things as well that can make you see what's not there."
Yeah, again, we have unfortunately hit a dead end on legitimately everything right now, unless we decide to completely ignore the whole vampire thing and go talk to anything or talking to potential witnesses surrounding the first two killings, or the other two, I should say first.
Yeah, he gestures a hand out and is like, I'll have some people track down some stuff.
Oh, right.
I'm also going to put a call in to Brock and see maybe if he has some ideas of why there's nothing being reported.
Well, the fact
actually, I
that
do have. Go ahead.
Schumer is on page 7.
Oh, I was actually just about to bring that up.
Just talk to her.
Yes, somebody is targeting people who were at the party.
Well, yeah, Namus was at the party as well.
I kind of figured. This is unfortunate, but Hayden, I would have some of your people look into Miss Schumer's body before they inter it. See if she has a brand.
Yeah, anyone else from that list that's turned up dead, we'll put in some calls and find out what we can.
Oh, and I'll write out all 7 of the symbols for the sins. And whoever you send out, this is what they're looking for. And they'll circle the 3 that have already been found.
Which is lust, pride, and greed.
Or as Elle calls them, desire, avarice, and pride.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it ain't good news, and that's unfortunately all I've got right now.
No, I'm gonna. Let me such
Unfortunately,
a
we're
sweet
used to
child.
bad news.
Sweet woman.
Yes, Ashley, I think that also means you should probably be sleeping here for a while. Your name's on the list, ours is not.
True. It's very frustrating. Sad.
It,
I'll get
it
it
is,
back.
and it might have nothing to do with what's going on.
Yeah.
It's a wild coincidence, but
You know, of all the women to
I didn't have a follow-up.
die,
Oh,
I never would have thought Melanie. She's such a sweet girl.
yeah, well, you never know anybody as much as you think you do.
Hmm.
And again, could have nothing to do with the brandings. Oh, Nathaniel, what did you call them? The Seven Sin brand killer or something?
Oh, I don't even remember. You see, this is why we need to get the newsies in on this. They can come up with the clever titles.
Sin Slayer?
I kind of like Sin Slayer. Yeah, it's the perfect amount of tacky. I love it.
And I only thought of it because I'm playing the fucking new Doom game. Alright.
The Sin Slayer.
Yeah, I will grab a manila folder, write that on the tab, and put what they have in it.
Yep. Starting to kick the file.
yep. We press F. We go into the files. We start a new crime board.
I think the only one that might have anything close to what Saga could do would actually be Francis.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, that is a legit thing. That would be connecting the that would be connecting the dot.
Alright.
Well, you probably should get some rest. You still haven't been able to heal over all that dealt with.
I'll be fine. We need to go get you a bag, and you're not going alone, so.
Thanks.
Go and get a what?
Some clothes so she could sleep at the archives, because her name is on the list from the party.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, like, Ashley probably does spend damn near half her time, if not more than half, at the archives.
Yeah, there's a difference between spending, like, your working hours here and like sleeping here.
Yeah, but you notice how essentially if you need her, she's there.
I just assume she can teleport.
She can
Well,
do
yes,
something.
she can teleport, and she also basically lives at the place.
She's the one that said she had to go get a bag.
No, she did say she had to go get a bag.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she's not going by herself.
Alright. So you decide to head towards her home. And you know it's that big home that she had with her ex. I've thought about selling it.
That'd be a bad idea. Do you need a house that big?
No.
That also really rub it in its fucking face when you realize it's like, not only did you ditch him, you got rid of the house.
Yeah. I am seriously considering selling it. Could be.
You might want to wait till this whole Sin Slayer thing's dealt with.
Yeah, I still gotta find out how Melanie Schumer's doing. Melanie's family's doing. She was a
Fortunately, probably not well.
Sweet girl. Really was. She didn't go to the parties very often, except that night. And she continues to talk. And, yeah, so while you are heading there, I mean, there's news about Caleb Waite still being investigated. The news is basically taken over the radio. Oh, this is not good.
that case.
That case
Well,
they can't get away from because it was done on air.
Well, that case is also open and shut.
Yeah. And
Fortunately, Mr. Trekker did it and was taken out by somebody else. And I imagine this heavy that came for him only did so because Mr. Trekker did it in such a public way. If he'd been smarter about it and maybe caught him in a hotel room or at his own house, then this Trekker might still be alive. And as unfortunate, or as crass as this way to say, I'm actually okay with him not being alive.
from what I'm hearing, he would have been a dangerous move for the girl.
Yes, he had very dark designs for Miss Tressel.
That is just unfortunate. Now I'm curious at how you're holding up about Maxine.
I can hold it together for now, but when I find out whoever actually did it, that might change.
Yeah. Well, he's been calling every hour and can't give him much. Trying not to give him much about it. Telling him to get a hold of the police if he needs to anything. He's not happy.
No, I wouldn't expect him to be. And when this whole vampire thing's over with, I might have a conversation with him, see if I can't calm him down, or at least direct his ire in a better direction.
That might be a good decision. Okay, so you get to the house. And as you're getting there, roll me sharp.
Oh, if it helps before we get into this, I'm actually going to drive past it a couple times to look at it.
There is a shadow in the area.
I mean, let me get this roll, see what happens. Oh, my +0.
But you don't know what it is. Until you about to hit her. And Ashley looks at the person you just about hit. And it's a lady who wears a little bit too much makeup, even for her stature. She is a debutante, and in her flapper materials, Ashley! Oh, you almost hit me!
Sorry, miss, I was just a little distracted.
Linda, what are you doing here? Oh, I just wanted to see how you were doing. Really? Yes, you did hear about Melanie, right? You heard about her. She died. Funny thing is that the porker died with gorging on a pie. Linda, that is so rude.
I will put their hand on Ash's shoulder. Where did you hear any details about how she died?
Oh, it's all, well, I was talking to some of her friends. Her mom and dad, and we're talking to some of the others, and someone slipped out the information.
I see. Mostly, as you can see, Ashley's okay. She's gonna be going away with me for a little while.
Oh, she could come with me.
We've already made plans. Unfortunately, the tickets are not refundable.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Too bad.
Yes, it's also unfortunate that someone such as yourself would claim to be somebody's friend and talk so ill of them. Makeup can cover up one's outside, but apparently it can't fix what's on the inside.
That is the funny thing.
That was about you.
Oh. I'm fine. I am
Not what I meant.
How rude!
Says the one talking and laughing about somebody who's died.
Alright.
You get what you give.
I hope you have a great trip with your friend here.
And to sell it, Elle will put their arm around her waist and pull her in.
She'll accept.
Have a much more enjoyable time than you.
Swear you see if looks could kill on this woman.
Now, if you would, they'll like use their other hand to gesture like down the path. We have some packing to do.
Well, Ashley, I hope you have a great trip. I'll see you when you get back. Maybe Linda at some of the parties, perhaps. Not for a while, though. I'm kind of tired of parties right now. Oh, but of course you're gonna be going to the funerals, of course. Like, Dr. Nameless and, oh, that handsome Wade. Oh my goodness, there's so many funerals to go to now. I'm sure I'll see you there. Ashley goes, I doubt it. I'm gonna be away for a while.
Unfortunately not. We are leaving today.
Oh, very well. I guess we'll see you later then. And she starts to run away and head away. Linda, you live on the other side of the city. Why the hell are you here? And then you notice a car, and it's about a street or two away.
Don't trust that woman.
Why was she at my house?
I don't know. And unfortunately, hoping my intuition here is wrong. If it's right, we'll find out why she was here, unfortunately, over the course of an investigation.
Strange.
But you now have an excuse to not be around for a while. She will spread it far faster than we ever could.
Well, that's for sure. She has a. She
Does
will.
mean that you'll be tied to me socially.
I already am, and I don't care.
The rumors will fly. Especially from that one.
True. You know, we used to be best friends. way back when we were kids. She'd come home, we'd play with our dolls, have little.
Was she at the New Year's party?
Yeah, she was.
Let me guess. Your family was richer than hers. You got more attention than she did.
Yes.
Intuition might have been wrong. You might be looking at victim number 4. Well, 5.
Should we stop her?
Too late now. When we get back, have Hayden see if we can hire somebody like Vinny to keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
Because that, unfortunately, she is starting to fit the bill for envy.
That's sad. All right, let's get this. Okay, I gotta get this bag done. Get out of here. I'm not feeling safe now. So mean.
All right.
And she does go up and I'm sure you go with her and they pack a bag. How long should I pack for?
I don't know. We have to deal with this vampire thing first.
2 weeks. Let's do that.
I mean, me and the others will be coming and going, so if you ever do need extra clothes, we can get them for you.
Okay, we'll go 2 weeks. That'll be enough. Besides, I don't want to take any more than that.
Oh, except don't ask Francis to get you clothes.
I've seen his wardrobe. It's atrocious.
I mean, there's a couple of things he pulls off.
Yes.
Well, I will admit he does fit the classic aesthetic for tweed-wearing professor.
I am not bringing any of my really fancy dresses, though. No, I don't.
Oh,
I'm not
shit.
going into any of the parties anytime soon.
Well, no, leave those here in case your place does get searched. It'll help sell that we have gone on
That's right.
a vacation somewhere.
Yeah. All right, I will. And she picks. I think I got it. I think I have enough. I think we're good.
Oh, Ashley, do you happen to have a beach suit?
Yes, I do. Oh my goodness.
Grab that.
That's the most risque thing I have. Okay.
Not for the reason you're thinking. It's to sell that you have gone on vacation.
Yes. Look at that. And gets the beach dress and all that.
But as we're leaving, be like, we can deal with social intimacies later. For now, it's about safety. I am on the job, as it were.
Heyo.
You know, this is America, not the UK. I know what that means in the UK.
Yeah, L turns up to the house like, hey, missus, do you need some pipe laid?
Oh no.
If L makes it through this, part of the epilogue would be if L makes it to the 70s, they start a porn studio. They're the ones that give Ron Jeremy his start.
Oh my.
All right, moving on.
So, she finishes packing and says, "All right, I think I'm ready. Can't think of anything else. I mean, we're going to the beach," and then she kind of makes it sound like metaphorically.
Well, hopefully.
This is when you notice that she has a £3,000 bag that when you try to pick up, you're like, Jesus fuck, what's that? You open it up and it's the industrial strength hairdryer that she cannot live without.
I don't think they had those.
I don't care.
It is
Al
not.
throws
It
back
is
out.
not light. It is not light, but it is kind of heavy. The bag.
I have fought demons, and this is the most challenging battle I've ever had.
Yeah. So yeah, you're going to take a crippling injury and going to be walking with a set of crutches for the next 6 years because you've slipped your entire spinal cord.
No, he kids.
I don't even think Merlin could fix this. Everybody's like, Merlin! Yeah.
And they head back.
And I think ideally this would be where we pick up with the full party discussion of how to proceed with the whole vampire thing.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
We gotta fill Francis in on everything we got.
As funny as it would be for us to commit to the kidnap a child plan with half the party not here.
I mean, if anybody could pull it off with just the two of us, it would be Elle and Nathaniel.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's also the thing of like, do I want to commit the other half of the party to this without talking to him? The answer is I kind of don't know.
Now the last thing that Ashley will say before the lights for before the credits. You know, I was thinking, could it be a devil or a satire?
Maybe.
But the satires would have horns, so I don't know.
Oh, if it was satire, it'd be making fun of all the killings, and those people wouldn't actually be dead.
Hmm.
Referring to Satyr?
Yes, satyr. Sorry. That's my own.
This was
problem.
also the this was also a player mocking the GM, I guess.
Yeah, that was my own fault. Could be.
I could just see Karsa's hand moving off to the side, like, note to self, LL.
How many times has that been written and crossed out? What are we up to, like 32?
Oh, she's got like a stack of notebooks.
Well,
They're
as
just
you're
volumes 1 through 300 of murder.
as you are noting that, you do pass Linda's car. It's almost as if she was waiting. And then
I'll wave to her.
You head off.
Ashley, we gotta make a quick detour.
Okay.
Now I'm worried about your friend following us, so I'm going to drive to the docks to sell the story.
Alright. I wish you
When did this turn into a fucking spy thriller, by the way?
And credits. This is KarsaKKWx here today with my friends from NRT as we played Waystone Mysteries. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time as we find out what we're going to do about the vampires. And what about the Sin Slayer? Goodbye!